All right, Wayne Bettis here, the founder of the Off the Tools podcast. I just want to introduce you to our brand new sponsor, directplumbing.supplies.com. It is founded by a former tradesman who has set up his own plumbing and heating merchants. He has an online shop, which is obviously at directplumbing.supplies.com, and he delivers across the UK. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show. Before I introduce this week's guest, I would like to say a massive thank you to everybody that has listened so far. It's far exceeded all my expectations. So I would just like to say thank you and how grateful I am that you guys have taken the time to listen to me and my guests. It means a lot to me. Today I am going to be talking with a man called Ryan Kaye, who's a friend of mine. He has had a fascinating journey in his life so far, and I feel his story needs to be told. So, this is Wayne with Ryan Kaye. So, Ryan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where you grew up and how you started in life?
Yeah, so grew up in Luton, Dunstable really. Mm-hmm. So I've got two children. I've got Holly who's 16 and Reese who's 13.
Okay.
I went to school with my now wife. We've been together for, I think in March it's 20 years. 20
years, wow! And
yeah.
you're still a young man. So how old was you when you got 15.
Married? Oh, when we got married.
Well, yeah, you met when you was 15.
We met when we was 15 at school. We was in the same class.
Oh wow! Childhood sweethearts. Yeah,
childhood sweethearts. And I remember her. She wouldn't talk to me. Because I was like, I was a bit of an arse at school, and she was like, "You need to grow up a bit before she'd let me in." Basically, So we've got two children, Holly 16 and Reese 13.
So how old was you when you had your first child?
18.
18. So young parent.
Yeah.
Like I was 18 as well, and it's brings its challenges, doesn't it?
It's tough. It's really tough.
What did you find hard about having children so young?
Finances.
Yeah. Yeah.
We moved out when we was 17.
Moved out at 17?
Yeah,
wow.
We moved out and we rented a flat in Dunstable.
Okay.
And we were paying, I remember now, it was £500 a month.
At 17 years old?
At 17, yeah. And I was earning £175 a week. So it was tough. It was really tough.
I can imagine. And then obviously the costs of children that come along as well, do you know?
Oh, massively, yeah. Massively. From then... We then bought a house at 18.
Yeah, okay.
Which was on, back then, you could get a mortgage with anyone.
Yeah.
We got a 100% mortgage.
This was pre the recession in 2007, I guess. Then.
And I can't remember how much the house was now. I think it was it's like 75,000 or something in Hatton Regis. And we got a £38,000 mortgage for it. And, on this shared to buy thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy times back then, really.
So with your money and things like that, how did it develop into like what was you doing for work at that time?
So I was a boy really working for, at that time I was working down at RAF Norfolk.
Oh, okay.
Doing like kitchens there. I was working with a guy called Neil.
So straight into a trade.
Straight from school. Literally the day after I finished school, which I'll add, I've got no GCSEs. Didn't turn up for most exams. Yeah. Hardly went to school in year 11.
I think that's a common trait with a lot of tradesmen, isn't it, when they start? So. Yeah.
So I was fitting kitchens in RAF Norfolk, and then from there I went and worked for my stepdad, and we was sort of nationwide fitting like toilet cubicles and like in airports and stuff like that.
Right, okay.
So that was where that was my first sort of bit of carpentry sort of type work really. I never went to college. Never done anything like
just
that.
Taught on site?
Yeah, just taught on site, which I think is the best way, really.
I think I agree with you. Yeah. Definitely. I think colleges have their place, but the real knowledge comes from working with the older guys on site and getting your hands stuck in, doesn't it? Yeah. Definitely does. So, when did you start your first business then?
I started a business, my first business, Exclusive Units. That was in 2012.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. It was like, I sort of realised now looking back that I don't know. I don't think I was old enough or knowledgeable enough really to do what I was doing.
So you was winging it, basically.
I was winging it. But to be honest with you, like everything I'd done was, it's all good standard work. As you know, because you worked on some of the jobs as well that I'd done. So we was doing like home extensions. I was working with my dad, who was like a building surveyor, building inspector for 30 odd years. So he was with me.
Okay.
And then the most craziest part of the exclusive unit story is that I managed to somehow get like a contract for Taylor Wimpey's.
Wow.
Which was like on their Prestige site in Fulham, which there was like 8 luxury houses.
Okay.
And it's like a £300,000 contract. And I was just like, I was like, it was just mad. So basically what I was doing was, I was like emailing all the people at Taylor Wimpey and stuff, and I was getting feedback from them. They're saying, Ron, you can't send us emails like this. I was just sending blank emails on a Gmail account. So I just didn't know what I was doing. It's like, you need to be a bit more professional.
Yeah.
And I mean, a couple of long stories short, I probably really shouldn't have had that contract, but I did. Mm-hmm. And, I remember them putting like £100,000 deposit into my bank.
Wow.
And I was like, looked at the bank and I was like,
I've made it.
Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. Like, I just wasn't ready for it.
Was you clever with money? So did you know how to handle having sort of high volumes of
cash? I wasn't ready at that time. I wasn't really ready for the business. I didn't know the ins and outs of how to run a business, but I wasn't silly with the money. Mm. I was very sensible with the money. I paid everything that that I needed to, all the kitchens that I was doing at the right time. Yeah. It was just the side of like the immaturity of me. I think like, as you know, I had an apprentice, Joe. Yeah. We was on
good
site.
Lad. I like Joe.
Yeah, he's a good lad. And we was on site in Fulham, and I've got this big contract, and me and him are just like fighting each other on the floor, rolling around on the floor in the kitchens because like we were just like it just. I don't know.
Well, you was young.
I was
young.
I was young, and I was just thinking, my word, I've got this big contract,
And you're there fucking about.
Yeah, I'm going to be like, yes, we're going to be millionaires, like But no, it was a great time. We had some great laughs.
I've seen some, to be honest, mate. I've seen some of the videos that you guys used to do, and this was pre-Instagram and stuff. These videos. Yeah. They were definitely something to watch. Yeah. We'll have to dig some old ones out and post them. They were good fun.
But we had some good jobs though, Wayne, didn't we? I mean, I think I remember you doing a full heating system for me in that bungalow. Yeah, we literally just banged all the walls out, So
and one thing I did notice back then was that was when I was a bigger company, and I'd worked for a lot of builders and developers and things like that. And I was shocked at how organised you was. So you're saying you felt you wasn't really ready, but from my perspective, you seemed very astute with job management and sort of project management and running of it, which I just wanted to give you kudos for that, mate, because it was definitely something I picked up on.
But that's what because I was on the tools then, and I was on site. I've always been like that. Like I've always been very organised around business. It's my weak point of business is, or used to be, actually still is in some aspects. Like it's the knowing of how to do things, like the invoicing, the paperwork side of things, really.
And I think that comes from, like I said earlier, most tradesmen haven't had any education in running a business. They're good with their hands. They do well. They make some money, and then all of a sudden they're having to run a business behind the scenes, and up until fairly recently, it was very hard for small businesses to get any type of support or training to help them develop.
Definitely.
And especially at a young age, it certainly doesn't help because you've not really got the full life experiences of some of the older guys in the industry.
I think I probably actually didn't give myself enough credit there. I think Exclusive Units was a great business.
Yeah, from the outside, 100%.
It was a great business, but I just feel that although I may have run the jobs well and stuff, I just think that I had a little bit of immaturity about me. I think I was kind of a little bit all over the place still. I was still going out, getting smashed at the weekends and that, know. So I just think that on that side of things, it probably was a good business, but when I tell you later on about my new business, you'll see how much I've grown up. And
so what led to you stopping Exclusive Units?
What led to me stopping Exclusive Units was I had a job offer from another company.
Okay.
But what happened before then? If you want me to say about the finance,
if you're happy to speak about this, definitely.
what happened was with the bankruptcy thing was that it was never any business decision that I'd done or, that made me go under. Mm-hmm. It was solely the fact that from such a young age, at being 18, moving out, we used to go down to like Sainsbury's. I don't know if you remember this, Wayne, but you used to have we used to go down with a checkbook and used to get a check guarantee card.
Yeah, and
you had to produce that. And we had £100 limit on it.
Yeah, and you'd have to give the card next to the check.
And we used to go down there, and we basically used to just go shopping and bounce checks because we couldn't afford to pay for food. Basically,
it got that tight.
It was for years and years and years. And we used to just go from like supermarket to supermarket just to get through because we had to feed our kids at the end of the day. Yeah. And being on £175 a week with a £500 rent, and all your other bills,
much
it just
for
didn't
anything
leave
else.
Much. So it just sort of turned into like one credit card, an Ed credit card to an MB and A credit card, and we were just paying them off. And then what we would do is we'd then go, right, let's go down to, I think we've got like a Sainsbury's loan or something to then pay off the other credit card.
Yeah.
But it was
so it's just compounding the debt rather than ever dealing.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting rid of it.
And because I was so young, I couldn't earn the money to manage. Yeah. The lifestyle.
Yeah.
It wasn't that we were going away on flash holidays. Yeah, we've probably done a few silly things, but who doesn't?
Yeah.
You got to live.
You got to still live, haven't you? Yeah.
And it just got like to a point where we had time. Like I won't go right into the depths of it, but we had times where like my stepdad would come round with like bags of shopping
because you physically didn't have
any money to buy food or even go down. Sometimes like we used to like be like, how much money have you got? Oh, I don't know, we've got like £3. We can go and buy some milk or something. It literally got that tight,
Okay.
So at this stage, it had started to spiral out of control when I had exclusive units. Mm-hmm. And I just said to Kaye one day, like, we've got to sort this shit out. Like, we can't carry on like this. Yeah. We need to deal with this. And I think we tried, like, I can't remember what it's called now. It's like they basically freeze all your credit and then they IVA, yeah. We tried that and it was just like I just said to Kaye, we're just never going to get rid of this. We need a fresh start. We need to just kill off all this debt, and start again. And that was when I had exclusive units. So what I'd done was I then changed the director to my dad's name. Mm-hmm. I then kept the company going because obviously you can't be director of a company. Yeah. Went through all the proceedings. I've got to admit, it's probably one of the most embarrassing times of my life. Going and stand in front of a judge. But he could tell.
So it was a personal bankruptcy.
Me and my wife both done it because the debt was in all.
Right. So it wasn't just a business liquidating because that's nothing. A fairly simple-ish process.
My bankruptcy was nothing to do with business or business decisions at all.
It was just your earlier life.
My earlier life and getting through and at the end of the day. I had to feed my family. Yeah. So if that's what I've got to do, that's what I've got to do. So changed the name to my dad. He was a director of exclusive units. But then I had a job offer from another kitchen company, which was working with a friend of mine at the time.
Okay.
And that was like working in the office. So that would be like designing, selling, going down and seeing people in the showroom. Yeah. Which is what I sort of needed, really. I think I needed to go and have that experience and
bit of a reality check, sort of having a proper business structure around you to sort of hone your skills.
And I mean, at the time, exclusive units was doing really well as well.
Yeah, so, I was at the time. I was shocked when you told me.
Were.
Yeah, because you seemed busy. You seemed like things were going well. So I was shocked when I got the email to say that you were moving on.
Yeah, but people do move on in life, don't they?
Yeah,
and I think
times
that
change.
And it was a bit of a tough time because I thought, I've got Joe as well as an apprentice. What am I going to do with him? He was in his third year of college, and I negotiated terms, and Joe come with me.
Okay.
He was only there a year, bless him. It just didn't work out for him. He needed to move on and do his own thing, which now he is. He's working for Unique Bedrooms. Which, and he's doing well, which I'm really pleased about. So I was there I left I walked out in January 2000. When was that? I think it was January 2017, I think.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. And was a dark time. That was a dark time. I won't go into the ins and outs of that, but I struggled for I'd say probably 2-3 months just to get my head around stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, but I've come out stronger the other end. Yeah. But at the same time, I got the knowledge that I needed. I took what I needed from in those 3 years.
Yeah,
and kind of that's where that's how that sort of
and that's how
around,
it all.
really.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So moving on to sort of where you are now, you're definitely in a lot better place than you've ever been. So how did you start your new business, Kaye Interiors? Yeah. What was the process behind that?
Okay, so when I left that company, I went back to fitting again for a bit.
Okay,
and I was working for. I picked up the phone and phoned a few of my old contacts and stuff. And I was sort of fitting in central London, big kitchens, I'm talking 70,000 pound kitchens.
Right, okay.
And I just thought, oh fuck, I just don't like it. I just can't do this any longer.
Did it feel like a backward step?
Yeah, it kind of did. And it's not just that. I was working for just complete knobheads.
Right.
They're just so unorganised, and I just thought, I need to do this myself. So I had in the back of my mind that I need to set up myself.
Yeah.
And I was still going through a process of having a few personal demons and issues going on. So I was my head was all over the shop, but I thought this is what I need to be doing. And it so happened that my wife came down to here where we are now.
Yeah.
To come and get some beauty treatments next door. And there was a sign on here saying for rent. Anyway, she phones me and she says this place is up for rent. Do you what should we do? Do you want to come and have a look at it? Should we go and have a look? And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, no, we'll come and have a little look. So I went down. I think I went down with my dad. I come down with my dad actually, and I had a look. And I was like, yeah, no, I need this. This is my way. This is going to give me a focus.
Yeah,
So I met the guy here. We negotiated the lease, and we agreed the lease, then the money and everything, and that's when it all started, really. But believe it or not, it's going to sound probably a bit corny. I see a post on Instagram, and it was this thing that said, I think it's inspirational quotes.
Yeah.
And it's there behind you in that picture frame, and it reads, if it excites you and scares you at the same time, it probably means you should do it.
Bang on.
And I read that. It was a time that Kerry had spotted this place, and that just one morning I was laying in bed and it just banged up, and I was on my phone. I was like, something just clicked in me. Yeah. And that's why I live by those words every day. I come in and I read those words every day. That is a
great quote. And on that, quickly to jump in, there's lots of inspirational stuff out there on the internet nowadays. But what it sounds like for you, that was more of a revelation rather than inspiration, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's sort of, it's one thing to read a quote and feel happy clappy for 5-10 minutes, but you actually revelated in you to do something new.
Absolutely,
and
it's still in me.
It's on the wall. He's got it, just so you guys can picture it. It's on the wall in his office as he walks in. Nice and big. So that's a great bit of motivation there.
And I honestly think about that quote all the time.
Yeah,
I could just be anywhere, and it just I don't know. Like you say, it's just built in me now.
Yes, So that's a great little story. That I like that, and I think others might take some inspiration and revelations from that. So. Definitely,
I hope so.
Definitely. So starting your business then. So you. This new business called Kaye Interiors, and firstly, I'd like to say it's an amazing showroom. It's only small, but it has enough in here. It's beautiful kitchens. Looks very expensive.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lease on a shop isn't cheap.
Yeah.
How did you get this to the point of being able to open? Okay. Because a lot of people have an idea.
Yeah.
The idea sits there and it swells and swells, but it never really comes to fruition. So what was the steps that actually led to opening the doors?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I had no money.
Yeah.
I come to see this place. I didn't have a penny.
Right.
You
didn't tell the landlord that.
I didn't tell the landlord that. No. And when I mean I didn't have a penny, I didn't have a penny. I didn't have anything. And yeah, basically what it was, I saw, again, social media.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like flicking through social media, and I see this Facebook post. And it was a government-funded startup loan scheme that they do. And what that is, it's basically, it doesn't matter whether you've been bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it was a long time ago I was bankrupt, but it's obviously still on my record.
Yeah.
But they don't care about that. What they care about is like a strong business plan and strong projections, the way that you conduct yourself, really. And what they do is they put you in contact with I don't know what you would call it. Just like a guy that sort of like guides you and he helps you. So what you do is you have to write the business plan.
Yep.
And then you have to produce it to him, and then he then checks it over, and he'll come back with like changes and say, "Look, I think you need to change this," before it goes to a panel.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm trying to remember that the guy was called David Skates. I should never forget his name actually, because he's the one who helped me. But that was another tough time, because I was outfitting still. Mm-hmm. I'd agreed the lease on here, signed everything, and I still hadn't had the money for the loan to be approved. So I had this lease signed into a 3-year lease, and I got no money to kit it out.
Yeah.
So I was still fitting. The pressure was on. It was building every day. And like, honestly, I swear to God, I had times where like in the middle of the night, I sat up on my bed with my hands in my head at like 1 o'clock in the morning, thinking, what the fuck have I done? Like,
yeah.
What have I done?
Buyer's remorse, they call it.
Why have I done this to my family? I was like, why have I done this to my family? Could I be under before I've even started, you know? Anyway, so with the loan, I actually sat my daughter, who was 14 or 15, and she actually helped me write the business plan. Because I'm terrible with, I can't spell, you know. Yeah. But she helped me with it. And we sent it back to this David Skates, and oh my God, like, it was painful. He used to take like a week to get back to you, like, and I'd be like, oh,
just want the answer. You just want,
and then and then we got really close, and I'd be like literally, like my month's quarter was coming up, like my first month's rent, and I was thinking, oh my God, I've got to pay out like $3,000 and I haven't got it, and it got to a point where I'd be on site in London, and I'm like, me and Kerry are like, yeah, we've done it. He's got it now. All he needs to do is approve it and send it to the panel. And he'd take a week to come back, but then he'd go, "Oh, just need 2 more changes." And I'd be like, "Oh my God!" Man. And I'd be like, "Oh my God!" Like,
so you're like thinking you're by the line,
and then get pushed back again,
yeah.
And like, honestly, the stress was unreal. I can't tell you the stress.
I can imagine.
And yeah, so what happened in the end was that after when was it? I think it was about July time. I ended up getting a phone call on the way home in my van from David Skate saying it's gone to the panel, and they've approved it. And I was
excellent.
Like, and I cried in my van on the way home.
Yeah,
the pressure was that much.
Yeah.
It meant that much, and look, I'm like I said to you before, I was terrible at school. I'll put my hand up. I'm not the most cleverest of guys.
Yeah.
But I managed to write a really strong business plan. And he said to me, you should be proud of yourself. You've wrote a really strong business plan. Your projections are great. They believe in you. We know that you've been bankrupt in the past, but we're not going to hold that against you.
Wow.
And it was a £14,500 loan, which is very small.
But in context, though, for somebody to take that risk on somebody that has no disrespect, if you've been bankrupt, do you know, 99% of the lenders around are gonna just shut the door, aren't they? So the fact that these guys had the faith in you, you know, must have shown that you were fully invested in it, weren't you? Do you know, that you were going to make this happen. Otherwise, they wouldn't put their money on the line, would they?
And and by that time, I was so focused on everything that I sort of. I honestly didn't think it would happen. I thought I was going to get turned away, but I was so focused, and I was like, as soon as he said to me, "Right, you got the money," that was it. Something triggered in my head, and I was like, "Right, now I know that's going to happen.
This is your chance.
This is my chance. I'm going to make this. I'm going to make this work, no matter what."
Yeah.
That was how I got the actual loan. But at the time, just going back a bit.
Yeah.
I actually didn't have the money to pay for the first quarter rent.
Right.
And I was training with a guy in the gym called Dean. I've only known him about 3 years, but he's the one who every morning I go in and I say, right, this is what I'm doing. He was the one saying, no, Ryan, go and do this. You can do this. And he said to me, if you need any help with anything, let me know. And I didn't have the money to pay the quarter rent. I said to him, Dean, I haven't got the money to pay this, and I've got 2 days before, I'm screwed. And he said, I'll give you it.
Wow.
And I'd known him at that time, and this is no joke, Wayne, probably a year. 2 years. Really? I'd known him, yeah.
So no real history with you?
No history. He don't know me from Adam.
But
he believed in me, and he knew that I was so passionate about it.
And seen you every day at the gym.
Seen me every day at the gym, yeah. And now he's a really good friend of mine. Like, we message and that. I don't train with him anymore because he works in London. But he gave me the money, and if it wasn't for him, I would have been under before I even started. Yeah. Wow. So I'm forever indebted to him, really, for that.
It sounds like, you had some luck along the way, but what you did with your luck was you grabbed it. Yeah. I think that luck comes to everybody, but it's noticing when that luck's there and grabbing it and making something happen with it. And it sounds like you had a good turn there, and then with your own dedication and effort, you've sort of ran away with that luck and sort of built it into the business. Yeah. I just want to quickly grab something before we move on. That you mentioned you did a business plan. Yeah. And on the face of a business plan, it's simple, isn't it? Everyone should have, I did inverted commas there, should have a business plan. But what I see and what I hear is the majority of people don't. No. They have no structure or at least, or even a rough idea of what they want to do and how they're going to achieve it. So the fact that you took the time to build a business plan, and it obviously was okay and good because someone put money into it, is a huge thing. And I think all small businesses and tradesmen, even if you're just self-employed, having a business plan is a must for me. It's basic business, but it gets missed by so many people.
The thing is, projections are just important as well. Yeah. You've got to have a projection. So I had a chart. I had each month what I projected I was going to earn in the first year. And I think that's so important because it gives you a target.
The word there, target. That to me, there's people have goals and things like that, but I like targets. Yeah. You wouldn't go and shoot a gun into nowhere, would you? Do you know how would you know if you're making any impact? Yeah. Having some sort of targets within your life and more importantly business is a must, isn't it? And projections give you that every month by month. You can see that's where I said I was going to be. Yeah. Am I there? No. Why not? Can I adjust? Or I've exceeded them, and it's glad to see that other people see the value in having projections and targets.
Just as important, Wayne, as a business plan. You need targets, and it's and to be honest with you, in the first year, I kept first 6 months. I mean, I'll get to that, but in the first 6 months, I really kept looking at that. Yeah. Make it seem where I was, and that's so important. But if you're ever thinking of starting a business, make sure your business plan and your projections are strong, and don't just start a business without doing it. You need to know what your market is for a start. You do your market research. Have a look at. I know, people think, you learn that at school, but it's so important.
It's the unglamorous side of a business, isn't it? Sitting there at night in your kitchen, probably in your pants, writing down stuff, trying to things work. People don't want to. You don't see this, and, especially with social media now, how big it is. You see all the gold. You see everyone's good bits and the highlights of them, and everything. You don't see the sort of raw, vulnerable side, which is normally at night. Stressing, pulling your hair out if you've got hair, unlike me. Ryan's got lovely hair, by the
way. It's very hairsprayed up though.
Sorry. I jumped in there. Sorry, I just wanted to
that's all right. But I mean, moving on from that, I got the money. I managed to pay that quarter rent.
Excellent.
And then I got my kitchen delivery, which was the nicest sight in the world. Seeing the lorry pull up here with all my kitchen displays.
Oh, I can imagine.
It was kind of just like a great sense of relief. It's here. Something.
And an achievement. You'd gone from having nothing to now you had a shop. A showroom. Sorry. And then your delivery comes. It must have been immense.
I mean, it was tough because I was juggling as well. I still had to pay my bills at home. So it's not like, a lot of people that set up showrooms might have a nice, I don't know, 50 grand in the bank where they don't have to work while they're setting it up. But I was still working and had to pay my bills. So
I was
sort of
doubling up, like you were working and building a business.
I was coming in here at the weekend, and my stepdad and my dad were helping out, building all these walls and everything. So, yeah, we got it up and running.
And it is beautiful. It is. I know
thanks,
I've said it already, but
yeah, we're actually taking all this out next year.
Oh, are you?
And extending it.
What?
Only these walls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The viewers won't be able to see that.
I'm going to post some pictures just so people can appreciate.
Yeah, that's it. But then we got to August the 26th is when we opened.
Okay.
2017, and we had an open day. I didn't see you there, Wayne, by the way.
I popped in the week before. If I
you
right.
did actually.
I did show. Weekends aren't good for me with 4 children. It's difficult to get out.
So we opened, and we had an open day, and it was amazing. Loads of people come down. We had champagne and beers and everything. And again, it's like I keep pleading poverty, but I literally didn't have any money. Again, I opened it with no money. I'd spent everything, so I had nothing. And I was under so much pressure again. Straight away, I needed to get a sale. I had to because I think we obviously I was talking to Kaye about it, taking all my notes about today, and I think we had like 200 quid. And we went to the Five Bells in Stanbridge just to buy everyone a few beers. Yeah. So I think I spent 100 of that just buying people beers. So we literally we had to sell straight away. And I've got to admit, the first couple of months, I thought, does anyone know I'm here? Does anybody know I'm here? But we got going and started to get some sales. And it's kind of.
And I picked up on your word in there, which I think is quite a key point there. There wasn't a choice. You described it as you had to. Yeah. You had to make sales. Yeah. And that is key, isn't it? If you have to do something, the chances of it happening are vastly higher than if it's something you might get round to or you might need to do. Yeah. So even though you wasn't in the best financial position, you certainly were in a hungry sort of dedicated position, which to me is just as valuable. If you had 50 grand in the pot, you could have sat here for months, couldn't you? Yeah. Thinking, they'll come. I've built it, they'll come. But you had to get out there and do the work effectively. You had to get out and find them customers and make them sales. Yeah. So that's a key point there.
And I mean, I think along the way, I think going back to when I very first started as well, I think a lot of my family were like, Ryan, what are you doing? What are you putting yourself through? Yeah. But I think did
your family know about your problems with bankruptcy and
stuff?
Yeah, so they probably saw it as, for God's sake, Ryan, just get a job and be normal.
Do you know what, Wayne? Right, that's one thing that I've always. I don't care about my past. That's my past. And I've always been openly honest with everyone. I tell everyone about my business, what I'm up to, what I'm doing. Some people are really secretive about things. I don't really care, to be honest, what people think. That's the difference. Yeah, I don't care what people think of me. Mindset. I don't. It's just it is what it is. But look, we've gone from strength to strength. I think. I think we're 16 months in now. Yep. So we're still new. We're still a new business, and I've still got a long way to go. I'm well aware of that. You've never made it. Yeah. And you're never far away from being closed either. So I know I've got a long way to go, but we are we've done so well. Yeah. And I'm so proud of the business and how it's all gone. But credit, where credit's due is that I'm just one side of it. I've got all the installers that fit for me, the electricians, plasterers. Without those guys, I don't have a business. Yeah.
So and just so you guys can visualize this. I might be wrong here, but you don't look like you're on the tools anymore. No, you're certainly off the tools, and he's so you run everything rather than doing the job. So you having a team around you is key, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, on my projections, I still had me going out and fitting for other people while this was going on. Oh, okay. And I was going to get cover to come in here. Whilst I'm going out fitting and ploughing money back into the company. That was on my projections. Okay. Yeah. And I've been so lucky that I've never had to do that. I've never gone out and fitted for anyone else since the day I opened.
Yeah? Oh, wow. So again, that's a bold move. Yeah. You could have easily fallen into the trap of, I need to make the sale. But then, do you really want to go and pay $1,000 or whatever it is to somebody to go and fit? So you were very strong there to not get drawn back into the tool side, because if that was your plan, everyone's plan's different. Some people love doing the work physically. Some people don't. And to be strong-willed enough, even in a sort of sticky situation, to stick by your what you want.
Yeah.
You know, hats off to you, mate, because it's very easy to go and get them work trousers back out and go and do a shift.
Them away, so I can't put them on anyway.
Great move.
But the thing is I do miss it as well, though. Yeah. I love, if you've got, I don't miss the little kitchens where you got like, it's so small, it's all tight and everything, stuff in the hallway. I do miss, going out and fitting and being amongst everyone. I do miss that, but at the same time, I'm still young. I'm still 34, but it was a way off of the tools, and I'm off the tools now. Yeah. So hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, that I'm not going to be a 55-year-old man fitting kitchens. Yeah. It's not that it's a bad thing, but
each to their own.
Each to their own. It's not that it's a bad thing, and you can earn great money fitting kitchens, especially the sort of kitchens that I do. Yeah. You can earn great money. It's a great job, but for me, I just wanted to be off the tools and do that.
So where do you see this going? What's your projections for the next few years?
Well,
where are you heading?
I'll tell you where we are. On my projections, I made, I think it was 235,000 was my projection for the first year. Mm-hmm. I'd done that in the first 6 months.
Okay.
So I'd smashed that in the first 6 months.
Was that your gross turnover?
Gross turnover. Yeah. I had obviously the money from Dean, the gym guy, that I had to pay back. Yep. And I also borrowed some money from family, a little bit of money from family. So I think I had around £6,000-7,000 worth that I needed to pay back. Yeah. And I hate being in debt to people. Yeah. I hate it. I don't mind being in debt to a loan company that got me it, but personal debt, I don't like.
Because it's on your head, isn't it? It's come out of their pocket. Yeah.
I managed to pay that back within 2-3 months.
Wow. That was another big relief for you.
Oh, yeah, it was, because you just feel like, I can't go out and do this, I can't go out and do that, because you feel like people are watching you, don't you? So I think, if anything, just try and get that bit done. Mm-hmm. Get that bit done first and kick on from there. And I mean, now I think we're looking at, we're 15, 16 months in. I think we're around £500,000 gross.
Wow. In 16 months?
Yeah,
that's good numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really pleased with it. And it's, and like I say, anybody who gets into the same position that I'm in, don't ever think that you're home and dry. I'll never think that. I always have that in the back of my mind. Yeah. You're never home and dry. You've got to keep pushing. You've got to keep pushing. You've got to keep trying to get those sales. Yeah. But to answer your question, where I want to be in 2 years' time, first thing I do is extend the showroom. Yep. This is what I'm doing here now. Office in the back room. To be honest with you, people will be like, "Oh, maybe you can get another showroom somewhere else." I don't want to do that yet. I want to build something here, and then
some solid foundation.
Yeah. And if I'm ready in 5 years' time to maybe go and open one somewhere else, then I'll think about that. But I wouldn't overstretch myself for that. Yeah. I'm sort of earning good enough money now that I don't really have to worry about money at home anymore. Yeah. I used to worry about paying my bills and stuff, buying a carton of milk, but I don't have to worry about that now. Yeah. So I'm not one of these. I'm not greedy. I don't want loads and loads and loads of money. I just want to be comfortable. Yeah. Go on nice holidays, enjoy the time with my family. That's it, really.
And that's important. You could spend the next 10 years being wrapped up and building this huge company with different shops everywhere, but without having the time to enjoy it. What's the point? There is no point, is there?
There's not. And I get it. Everybody wants to earn money, and a lot of money. That's your target. But my target isn't that, really. I think my target is just to be comfortable and have an easier life. I've got an easier life now. Yeah. I come to work at 9 o'clock, 9 to 5, Monday to Thursday. I leave at 3 o'clock on a Friday. I'll go to the pub and have a couple of beers. Saturday I work 10 till 1. And I just I don't have the stress of the rat race, driving around in my van.
It sounds like you're crafting and crafted your lifestyle that suits what you want, which is, at the end of the day, there are people out there that just want the bigger bank balance, but what I'm seeing from people that come from a trades background is it's more of a lifestyle. The money's important, of course. You need money, you need to pay the bills, you need to have nice holidays and things like that. But it's the lifestyle that can be generated from running your own business. That seems to be the biggest sort of magnet pull for why people even bother taking any of the risk in the first place.
I mean, like, the other thing, like, I've had a lot of family help me out.
Yeah.
Like, I've got my brother is like a complete like computer expert. Like, Excel is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like, I see like you talk about a lot of like, I don't know what these are, like these systems.
Yes. Yeah. So there's lots in my industry, which is plumbing and heating. But basically job management systems and safety certificates and things like that.
Well, like my brother sort of built me one, really.
Oh, okay.
So I said it's probably very basic, but he is an expert on Excel.
Yeah.
So what he's built me, he's just built me. It's just something to make it easier for me.
Yeah.
Like I just have like 3 invoices that he does. Well, but basically it's got like a customer sheet at the start.
Mm-hmm.
I fill in the customer details, give him a customer number. And then I put in the values, and it works everything out for me.
Okay.
So I've got invoice 1, 2, and 3, 50%, 40%, 10% retention.
Yeah.
And it just generates all the invoices for me. And then I have like an ad hoc invoice if they want to buy something extra.
Yeah.
And then I have like sinks, worktops, furniture, and I just tag all the quotes to that. So if I ever need to get to one job, just double tap it, that customer, and everything comes up. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Like, and it keeps me organised.
And I think many people overcomplicate
I think
things.
so.
It doesn't need to be complicated. And from the sounds of yours, I'm going to take a look at it once we finish this interview. It sounds simple but effective. And at the end of the day, who cares if it maybe doesn't look the prettiest on the screen or whatever? Yeah. The fact it's easy to use, it gives you the information that you need. Yeah. And keeps it in one place for you to be able to access when you need to. That's all you need from it.
Because I see like people on like your page like spending loads of money on these management system things. I just think like my brother done that in like 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, and it works.
And it does
everything. So, but one thing I am like is I'm very organised with stuff, like because it's just me here. Like I could do with. I'm going away, aren't I? I said to you, I'm going on holiday in a couple of days. And I'm going to have a long think about things. I probably do need someone else in here now, really, just to help me out with things. Yeah. But it's about being organised. Like you can see all my boards around the office. And you can see
from his desk as well. His desk is very clean and tidy. It's my mess that's making it look untidy. Yeah. And I can definitely see that you obviously take that comes as a natural sort of attribute of you.
And I think like that's what makes your life easy is by being organised. Yeah. Don't leave things like. Don't leave an email in your inbox. Deal with it straight away. Get it out of your inbox. Yeah. Like I leave like every day. I leave my inboxes completely empty.
Yeah,
I can't make sure that I physically can't have anything in my inbox. It has to be gone.
Right.
So like just get everything done. Don't like sit on it and go, I'll do that tomorrow. Yeah. Just do it. If it's there, just do it. Get rid of it. Maybe that's a little bit of OCD in me. I don't know. But
it's an effective way, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if you leave it till tomorrow, then what happens tomorrow when there's another stuff? You know, you leave that till tomorrow, and before you know it, it backs up and backs up and backs up, and then it's a big mountain to climb. Whereas you're dealing with it as it happens. So if there are problems or whatever it is that needs to be dealt with, are being dealt with quickly and efficiently, rather than being built to linger and create a monster.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm happy where things are right now.
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing very well.
But Wayne, you never, like I said to you, you never like you got to keep pushing. Like I'll never sit there and go, "Oh, I've made it." Yeah, never. It's like,
and that's important, isn't it? To have that hunger to push.
And I think anybody thinks that's when you're in trouble. Yeah, always keep pushing.
And I think I won't lie. I think when I had my larger company, I think I fell into that trap where I had loads of money coming in. I had staff. I had, from the outside, I looked like I was doing very well, and I think I got complacent and just sort of thought, well, I've made it. I've got all this money coming in. I've got this shop. I've got all these guys that fall to my feet because I'm giving them X, Y, and Z, and complacency was probably the biggest thing that fucked me up, to be honest. Yeah. And staying hungry is very important, as Ryan just said. Going on to another question now, quickly. What's been your biggest mistake that you've made?
Biggest mistake. I'm not very good at listening to people.
Okay.
I'm like, in actual fact, I'm terrible at listening to people. Like I think
I'll second that.
Yeah. I think I'm right all the time. Yeah. And I'm probably not some of the time. I think probably my biggest mistake is I should listen. It's not really. I can't specifically tell you a mistake I've made. Yeah. But I just think there's probably a few times along the way that I've just done what I want to do. Yeah. But I've always been like that. Hence my whole life, moving out when I was 17. It's just the way
everyone else would have been telling you don't do it.
Don't do it. So I've always had that. Why are you going? Why are you doing this? What? But
see, I remember based on that, and it ended up obviously proving well for you. I remember when you rang me and told me that you were opening a shop, and I had a history of having a shop and stuff, and I could tell, I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but obviously I like Ryan, he's a friend, so I was trying to make him think about. He probably doesn't even remember the conversation, but I do.
I think I vaguely do.
Actually. I was trying in a nice way to say, be careful. In essence, make sure that you're going to do it right, and obviously at this time I didn't really know much of Ryan's personal experiences, so he was already in probably a better position to make them decisions. But I got a sense from the phone call that he didn't really listen to me. He didn't really listen to me. At least I could say I tried to warn you if it did. I wasn't trying to put you off at all. All I wanted to do was let you know what I had done, in the hope that maybe you would have found the gem in there to avoid it. And from what you've done so far, you certainly have done that yourself without that. Yeah. But I definitely did get the sense that, maybe I stepped over the mark trying to offer the advice and whatever. But I'm a firm believer in listen to people. If it's bullshit, just ignore it. But if you hadn't listened in the first place, you might never have known something. So the fact that you highlighted that as one of your weaknesses is a good thing, because at least you know you're conscious that you should be listening a little bit more. Do
you know what, Wayne? I remember phoning my stepbrother up, and I said to him, "I'm going to do this," because obviously he knew what had gone on and everything. And he goes to me, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing that?" And he was like, and I went, "All right, yeah, thanks for the info. See you later." And I was like, just deleted that. That went through one ear and out the other.
But sometimes that's needed. If you listen to everybody's negative, the amount of times people have said, "Don't do that, Wayne. Don't do that, Wayne." And sometimes you have to have that inner faith, I suppose. I know I've made mistakes in the past, but I'm now reminded to get this to happen.
But I can't say it's a specific mistake I've made. I could say bankruptcy, but I didn't have a choice there. I didn't have a choice,
and that wasn't just one decision.
No, it wasn't one decision.
One bit of mistake. That was.
I do know that I need to listen more to people. I do know that's probably what I need to do.
Right. So the next question I've got is, if you can remember it, what was the best bit of advice that you've ever received, if you listen to them?
Best bit of advice.
Maybe not just something that.
I it's not. Can it be advice from myself?
Yeah,
why not?
This? Yeah.
Best bit of advice that it's not that somebody's told me, but is. In my business, obviously, I'm selling. I'm not a salesman. Mm-hmm. I'm a kitchen fitter. That's what I am. Mm-hmm. And I've had feedback from customers in the past year that have told me this, which is why I can answer your question with that. Is be yourself.
Yeah.
Like I literally, I'm not like shirted up. I'm not shirted up in the showroom with a tie, trying to sell kitchens. I am who I am. I've got 2 sleeve tattoos. I wear a t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not the typical showroom salesman, no,
window salesman, 1980s or whatever. I'm not like that. And I think that's what people like. They come in, and I'm just
honesty,
me.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just me. I don't bullshit people. Like they come in and I like to get to know people. I like to. I say to them, right, where have you been on holiday this year? Yeah. They don't expect questions like that. Yeah. They come into a kitchen showroom to look at kitchens, and I'll just be myself. And then I find myself sometimes talking to people that I don't even know for 20 minutes about where they've gone on holiday. Yeah. And I've had people, couple of customers,
that's got to be an honest way of doing it. There's no point asking the question if you're not interested.
No.
Is there? Because it's going to be clear that you've just asked that just to try and build some rapport.
Yeah.
So doing stuff that is built into you, so being yourself, that's a great bit of advice, even if it come from yourself.
And Wayne, I've had customers come in and say, Ryan, there's only one reason why we've gone with you, and it's not I'm blowing my own trumpet here at all, but they've said it's just because we like you. We like how down to earth you are. You just seem like a normal person. Yeah. We've gone down to the place down the road and they're just arseholes. He's wearing a shirt. He's like, you've got to sign up today. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. I'm like, I'm not high pressure sales. I'm a great believer in, if you be yourself, then you'll win the jobs.
Yeah.
Simple as
the
that.
ones that were meant to be, effectively. Do you know?
Exactly.
If you ever overpromise something or try to be something that you're not, you're going to get found out at some point.
Exactly. So I tell myself, bit of advice that I tell myself is every time someone comes in, just be Ryan, be Ryan, and just be yourself. And
if it isn't for them, it isn't for them. But the people that do want it, you're gonna build relationships with.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great. That's a good bit of advice. We're gonna get on now. We've been coming up to an hour. So
wow.
My last question, which is I ask everybody. I'm not sure what your answer is going to be on this, but if I was to ask you to identify yourself, I'll give you some examples. Are you a businessman? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a tradesman? Are you a kitchen fitter? Do you know how if you were, or are you all? Do you know what would your answer to that be?
That's a really tough one. I would say that I'm not a businessman. I don't think. I just think I'd just like to say that I'm not a businessman. I'm just a normal guy, an ex-tradesman that is just doing well at the minute.
That's a perfectly good answer.
That's who I am. I'm not.
So I would definitely say you've got an entrepreneurial spirit. You know, you're not scared of taking some risks. You know, to pursue something that you believe in. So I would definitely say that. So that's basically the end of the interview today. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you very much for taking your time out and letting me come into the office and chat with you. I hope all the listeners have listened to it all. I hope that it's either highlighted something in your own life or business that maybe you could take some inspiration out of what we've been speaking about. Once again, thank you, Ryan. It's been a pleasure.
No worries. Thanks, Wayne. Cheers. Bye, everyone.
I really hope you enjoyed the show. I just wanted to pull it out there for anyone listening that I offer business coaching, but also life coaching. My life is centered around something called the 3 Bs, which stands for body, business, and balance. When you work with me as a coach, we tackle all 3 aspects of life. So you as an individual, body, mindset, health, fitness, knowledge, education. Business B obviously stands for your business, improving, maximizing opportunities, elevating, making more money. And balance stands for your friends, family, loved ones, making time for everything in your life. And the 3 Bs is the core element to that. If you'd like to learn more, I would ask you to reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you might be consuming my information. Or you can email me directly at wayne@offthetools.co.uk. I'm here waiting to assist you to elevate across all aspects of life. Have a good one. No excuses. Let's go.